right, everybody. Let's see if we can. Welcome, everyone. This feels really loud for the room, but we're recording it, so I'm going to use the mic, and I'm going to speak just very briefly to get us going this morning. For those who don't know me, I'm Jennifer Mnookin, and I have the good luck of being dean here at UCLA Law School. And today it's very good luck because it's really a pleasure to welcome all of you to this event and to this really, what I think is going to be a very interesting series of conversations. And it's also my pleasure and my honor to welcome you to the very first inaugural event of the brand new UCLA Institute for Technology, Law, and Policy. One of your jobs for today, I was just talking to one of those of you in the room who was talking about his book title and the importance of titles. So one of your jobs for today is to figure out, like, what's the brief version going to be? Is it going to be, ITLP, or is it going to be just TLP or ITLIP, or are you going to come up with something completely different? This is the inaugural event, and I'm hoping that by the end of the day, there's going to be some kind of acronym or shorthand that you're beginning to use as if it's natural. Of course, what's natural and what isn't is part of what we'll be talking about today. How technology gets worked into criminal justice, the dangers of that, the promise of it, et.cetera. But I hope we'll at least, if you won't come up with all the answers about algorithms, I hope you'll at least have something to say about acronyms, right? And where we're going to be. But in all seriousness, it's an enormous pleasure to welcome you to this event. There's a lot of brain power in this room, and I do think that for these incredibly challenging questions around the heart of technology, law, and policy in the criminal justice system, if anybody can help us make progress on thinking more deeply, learning more, and beginning to come up with wise and just policies, the people in this room are a really, really good start. And so I want to thank the donors for making this possible and for getting this going. I also want to thank Dean Jayathi Murthy from the Engineering School for her involvement and support. This is the first formal collaboration between the law school and the School of Engineering, and we're very excited about that. And of course, I want to recognize the co-directors of the Institute. First, John Villasenor, who has appointments pretty much everywhere around UCLA. His two home departments are the Engineering School and the School of Public Policy, but he also has appointments in the Management School and the Law School. Are there others that I'm forgetting? All right, just four, as well as my fantastic colleague, Law Professor Richard Ray, whose appointment is here at the law school, and we're so glad that it is. They are the co-directors of this fledgling institute, and they've both already done really interesting work at the law-technology intersection in all kinds of ways, and I'm very excited to see what they're able to build here and what comes next. I do a lot of introductions as deans, and for some of them they're areas that I know absolutely nothing about, and others are ones that I care about. And for me, this is very much in the latter space. Right now I'm dean. I don't have a lot of time for doing brand new scholarship. But if I did, I would hope to be able to be in the room with all of you. I think these are incredibly important, interesting questions, and I'm excited that I've been able to carve out part of my day to actually listen and be with you. But I'm really looking forward to learning from you and then hearing more about what comes out of today and what comes out of this institute over the coming months, years, and beyond. We've long had some degree of interest here at UCLA Law School in law and tech issues in a variety of places, including PULSE, the Program on Understanding Law, Science, and Evidence, which I helped co-found a number of years ago, and which Richard now co-directs, allegedly with me. But since I'm dean, that really means that Richard has been carrying the laboring oar there, and so it's very exciting to see this kind of work grow into something bigger and more substantial. I don't need to tell all of you about the importance of these issues. So I will stop there and just say what a pleasure it is to have you in the room today, and that I hope you stay involved in the Institute and in what comes out of it, and give us your good ideas and help bring thoughtful engagement to these incredibly hard, incredibly important questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dean Mnookin. I'm just going to briefly give a little more context, just to highlight the importance of these intersections of technology and law and policy, some of the issues that have been features of the news, either very recently or in the not-too-distant past. As you all know, there's this enormously important debate that's going on about manipulated media, for example, the extent to which and how should for example, social media companies deal with both the technological challenge of detecting it and what should the policies be regarding it. To give you yet another example that's been in the headlines recently, the tensions between government requests to, or perhaps even demands, to have tech companies assist the government in gaining access to devices or services that contain encrypted data. That long-running encryption debate, which has been sort of kind of going up and down for decades, has kind of gotten new life again just in recent weeks. There was a really interesting case not too long ago where a dissident from another country living in the United States filed suit against a foreign government, alleging that the foreign government had, while the dissident was in the United States, sent him an email containing spyware, which would then use to spy on him. And a federal appeals court dismissed the case, basically saying that this was not an exception to the Foreign Sovereign Immunities Act because the entirety of the tort had not occurred in the United States, right? Because the email containing the attachment had been sent from overseas. And so another really interesting area is all the discussions that we have about algorithms generally, including but not limited to the criminal justice context. And issues such as, another example, the Supreme Court is about to hear in just a month or two now a copyright case involving, it's Google v. Oracle, involving the question of whether software APIs are copyrightable or not. So this is just an example of a set of really important and interesting issues. And to state what's obvious, people with purely technological expertise, no matter how good that is, aren't alone going to be able to solve these problems, and neither are people with purely legal expertise going to be able to alone solve these problems. The only way we're going to solve them is to have really genuine, deep collaborations that are interdisciplinary, not only in talking the talk, but also in walking the walk. And our hope is that through the formal framework that we have here and the very good fortune we have to engage with the non-UCLA thought leaders who have graciously agreed to be here today with us, we can, if not solve these problems, we can at least move towards a better understanding of them and propose frameworks and ways of looking at them that can at least form the foundation for better approaches. So anyway, today we have, as you know, I think a terrific lineup of panels with an extraordinary group of national thought leaders. I won't read the titles of all the panels because they're all written down in front of you in the agenda, so I won't waste your time reading them, but suffice it to say that Richard and I are just beyond excited to be able to engage with all of you today and looking forward to the discussions.
I just wanted to say briefly thank you to everyone for coming. Thank you to Dean Mnookin. This is a really exciting launch event, and I like thinking of it as a launch partly because I hope that each panel will kind of take a new step toward a cumulative discussion that will stretch across the day. And I also obviously think that this launch is going to be the beginning of a series of conversations and gatherings and written products that the Institute will develop and promulgate and share. And I hope that many, if not all of you, will be a part of that, not just today and next week, next month, next year, but for many years to come. So again, thank you very much. And without further ado, I think we can get the first panel underway.